Hey everyone, in this video we would be just seeing how the range of data types in C come to a certain range. For example, how it is 0 to 255, 0 to 65536. Now take for example, we are introduced to a C course and we are told that the data types are primitive and derived. Under primitive you have char, int, float and double. So I've tried to explain this in the form of some canisters which are ranging from a very low capacity to a little bigger and then bigger and the biggest. Again we have derived data types which consists of array, structure, union, enum, pointer. Coming to the primitive data types, you may notice that the data type's capacity increases as you move from the right to the left. So you have to choose the data type appropriately depending on how much your program requires. But how much in each though? How do we know that? How do we know what is the size of each data type in our C program? So on your particular system, if you open Turbo C or if you open dev cpp or code blocks, to know what is the size taken by character kind of data type or what is the size taken by some other data type, you can simply write a small program or a small snippet of code wherein you make use of the sizeof operator. Now it says there character, since I've put char data type, size of char takes 1 byte. Now understand the fact that the storage we are learning is, or the capacity of each data type is always mentioned in the term of bytes. So if you are asked in the papers or if you are asked ever in future what is the capacity or how much can char hold, you're supposed to say 1 byte, and then further on we have our deductions. So what is 1 byte? 1 byte consists of 8 bits. Each place that you see in white over here is a bit. So anytime if you are writing the binary equivalent of any decimal number, make sure you group it in multiples of 8. Even if you are not getting like proper multiples of 8, make sure you put in zeros to make them multiples of 8. Always remember 1 byte is equal to 8 bits and 2 bytes is equal to 2 into 8 bits, that is 16 bits. So n byte is equal to n into 8 bits. A byte always results into 8 bits. So a byte which is consisting of 8 bits, each bit over here can either be an on or an off. Okay, so here it is off. So when a bit is on, that means it is set to a high. When you set it to a high, that means the value it takes is 1. So if I set all the bits to a high here, this particular byte is going to have its maximum value. And if I set a bit to 0, that is a off or that is a low, you will have to go and put 0 in its particular place. So a bit can be either set with 1 or a 0. So what is the least value a byte can hold? The least value a byte can hold is when you set all of them to zeros. And what is the max value a byte can hold? The max value a byte can hold is when all the bits are set with 1. So you have to set them with 1. Now imagine that from these 8 bits, now these are 8 bits. From these 8 bits, you only have 1 bit. So when you have 1 bit, you know that you can either set it to 0 at a point of time or you can set it to 1 at a point of time. care has to be taken that you understand that you cannot set it with both the values, either 0 or 1. So that means at a point of time when you have one bit, you can have one value, correct? Either 0 or 1. Fine. So when you have 2 bits, the least value you can store in it is 0 and 0. So 0 and 0 gives you in decimal 0. When again the next combination you can have is you set this one to 0 and this one to 1. So you'll get a value 1. The next combination you can have is setting this one to 1 and this one to 0. So 1 and 0 gives you 2. And the last possible combination you can have is 1 and 1, that is value 3. So if you see over here with 2 bits, you get the least value as 0 and the max value as 3. So we come to a conclusion wherein when you have 2 bits, that is your n is 2, number of values is 4. 1 value, 2 value, 3 value, 4 value. But minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 3. When you have 3 bits, okay, when you have 3 bits, the minimum value you can get is 0. The next value is by setting this 1 and keeping the remaining 0. You can get is 1. Similarly, you'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So if you count, when there are 3 bits, that is n is 3, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 values. Number of values is 8, where 8 is equal to 2 raised to n, where n is 3. So if you came to the previous slide, the previous one we saw, there you had got 4 values. So that was 2 raised to 2. Now if you have a problem in how I'm getting this 7, 6, 5, 4, you see over here these are the decimal equivalents 4, 2, 1. So wherever I want 7, 7 can be got by the addition of 4 plus 2 plus 1. That's how I'm getting these highs or ones set. Coming back, minimum value is 0, maximum value is 7. So this was when n is 3. Let's see when n is 4. When n is 4, let's pick up any random value. When you have value 8, 8 is got by setting only 1 here, rest all are 0. Say for example 12. 12 is got by 1, 1, 0, 0. Next one 15. 15 is got by 1, 1, 1, 1. So that means when you have 4 bits, n is 4, number of values is equal to 16, which is equal to 2 raised to n, that is 2 raised to 4. Min value is 0 and max value is 15. So when you have 8 bits now, max value or min value is 0, max value will be, this continues further, not shown it because I'll be having so many values, but however this continues and goes to wherein you have all 1. So if you're going to have all 1, you're going to add 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. Remember that. However, the observation is when you have 2 bits and when you have 3 bits and when you have 4 bits, that is n is 2, n is 3 and n is 4. Here number of values is 4, 8 and 16. How do you get that? This is 2 raised to 2, that is this 2. This is 2 raised to 3, that is this 3. This is 2 raised to 4, this is this 4. Min values in all cases are zeros. Max value is 3. Here max value is 7. And here max value is 15, which is always 1 less than the number of values. Here the number of values is 4, max value is 3. Number of values is 8, max value is 7. Number of values 16, max value is 15. So you can say the range when you have 2 bits is 0 to 3. Range when you have 3 bits is 0 to 7. And range when you have 4 bits is 0 to 15. So number of values is always equal to 2 raised to n, where n is going to be your number of bits. Min value will always be 0 and max value will always be 2 raised to n minus 1. 2 raised to n, the whole thing, minus 1. And range will always be equal to 0 to max value. So you have seen the deductions here. So you don't have to by heart. All you need to know is char takes how many bits, how many bytes, and then how many bits. Based on how many bits, then you can come to this deduction. So you don't have to by heart. Similarly, if int takes 2 bytes, in some compilers it may take 2 bytes, and some compilers it may take 4 bytes. So if int takes 2 bytes, 2 into 8, 16 bits. So once you know n is 16, you can come up with all these deductions. You do not have to by heart. So when n is 8 now, number of values is equal to 2 raised to 8, so 256. So 1 byte, that is 8 bits, consists of 256 values. Min value is 0, max value is 2 raised to 8 minus 1, 255. Therefore, I say that range of character is from 0 to 255 because it has 8 bits and 8 bits can hold maximum of 256 values. So now you can write a small code to implement sizeof. Check the size of int on your system, check the size of float, check the size of double, and declare an integer variable and check the size of that particular integer variable. Are you getting my point? You have to write a code to demonstrate sizeof. So this is the code. You can see the solution. Now since I have explained to you how to come across or do the range of character, the number of values it can hold, the minimum value, the maximum value, I would like you to do all these computation for the different canisters shown, that is for character, for int, for float, and for double. To help you, I have said that char is 1 byte, n is 8 bits. We've already done for char, so taking that as an example or something that you could refer to, you would have to do for int, you would have to do for float, and you would have to do for double. Int on some systems take 2 or 4 bytes, so 16 or 32 bits. Float 4 bytes, double 8 bytes. So you can take this up as a work problem or a practice problem and find out all these values pertaining to all these data types. I hope now you don't have to by heart all these values for all these data types and you're in a position to derive it or explain how you get it. Thank you.